Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be talking about the one and only XRP, which is a topic, in fact, the front and center topic of the next Sunshine Act meeting that, of course, is conducted by the SEC. Now, what we saw post the last Sunshine Act meeting, which took place on the Thursday just gone, was the deceasement or the dropping of the litigation and lawsuits that were brought against various cryptocurrency players like Coinbase, OpenSea, and Robinhood. They have now all been dismissed. And that's what these Sunshine Act meetings are about, discussing current affairs of the SEC and what to do moving forwards. So, despite the crappy price action, there's some really great news coming out. And actually, we have another Sunshine Act that we're going to get into taking place this Thursday. And XRP specifically has been listed as a topic. So there was a meeting, just to give you a little bit of context here. There was a Sunshine Act meeting that took place behind closed doors. It was announced, of course, and this is conducted by the SEC. Since then, this is Brian Armstrong tweeting, after years of litigation, millions of taxpayer dollars spent, and irreparable harm done to the country, we've reached an agreement with the SEC staff to dismiss their litigation against Coinbase once approved by the commission, which we're told is to be expected next week, being this week. This would be a full dismissal with a $0 in fines paid and zero charges to the business. There was also the dismissal of the OpenSea case. The SEC is closing its investigation into OpenSea. This is a win for everyone who is creating and building in our space. Trying to classify NFTs as securities would have been a step backwards, one that misrepresents the law and slows innovation. Now, this is obviously OpenSea's an NFT platform. Coinbase is a cryptocurrency exchange. And they were trying to, or the SEC was trying to call these cryptocurrencies securities and claiming that Coinbase were essentially selling unregistered securities. So if they've dropped the case, then that means they've kind of dropped the security aspect. And we'll look at what's coming up this Thursday and the ramifications this has. We will look at some price action. Ignore short-term price action, guys. Focus on that bigger pattern. Also, today, and another rollback by the SEC Enforcement Division, the agency is closing its investigation into Robinhood per the company. Will Uniswap be next? We'll see. One very interesting thing that is to come this Thursday, and really why I'm making this video, is another Sunshine Act meeting. The SEC will hold another Sunshine Act meeting on February the 27th. This time, XRP is directly mentioned in relation to documents for discussion at the meeting. Now, isn't this interesting? Isn't it interesting that on the back end of the prior one, we've seen a load of cases that have been brought forward by the SEC against the industry dropped, and actually going into this one, the matters to be considered: commissioners' counsel to the commissioners, the secretary to the commissioners, and recording secretaries will attend the closed meeting. Certain staff members who have an interest in the matter also will be present. But this is the kind of memorandum. This is from the Federal Reserve, or the Federal Register. Sorry, not the Federal Reserve. This is in regards to the Sunshine Act meeting that's taking place this Thursday at 2 p.m. That'll be Washington time, I believe. And it says here, self-regulatory organization statement of the terms of substance of the proposed rule change. Now, this is interesting. The CBOE exchange is filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission a proposed rule change to list and trade shares of the Bitwise XRP ETF under BZX rule, commodity-based trust shares. The text of the proposed rule change is also available on the exchange's website, at the exchange office of the secretary at the commission public relief room. It then goes on to say a self-regulatory organization statement of the propose of and the statutory basis for the proposed rule change. It talks about the purpose, and it talks ultimately about what they want to happen. So this is huge. Just putting two and two together, obviously on the back end of the last Sunshine Act, we've seen a hell of a lot of good news and kind of cases get dropped, which there is still an ongoing case with the SEC and, of course, Ripple, Brad and Chris. This, of course, has huge ramifications for the whole industry, but certainly XRP. And it looks more and more likely that this is essentially going to get done away with. In regards to an XRP ETF, rather interestingly, also very relevant to this situation, this is CoinShares report. Now, these guys track every single week flows into the cryptocurrency space through exchange-traded vehicles. So it could be ETPs, it could be ETFs globally. And despite there being a overall outflow, so further outflows of 508 million follow uncertainty on tariffs and monetary policy, you'll notice that XRP led inflows to the tune of 38.3 million, having now seen 819 million of inflows since mid-November. We're talking 3 months ago, reflecting investors' hope that the SEC will drop its lawsuit. Now, with this Sunshine Act, where this is going to be directly a topic of discussion and coming on the back end of the prior Sunshine Act meeting, they've dropped a load of cases. This could be it, guys. I'll talk about price action and kind of relate it in just a second. You can see in regards to XRP, it really is just standing out. I mean, it really saw the most inflows. Also, only trailing behind Ethereum and, of course, Bitcoin in regards to monthly flows. And year-to-date flows, it's got over a fifth of Ethereum's flows. And, of course, AUM, it's significantly behind. The multi-asset flows really doing quite well. But it also goes on to say, interestingly, altcoins continue to see inflows, with XRP leading the pack once again with inflows of $38 million. XRP has now seen 819 million of inflows since mid-November. And obviously this is talking about then the SEC lawsuit, which we're likely about to get clarity on because they're meeting specifically in regards to all of this. And we've looked at what came out of the last meeting that they had. So it's an exciting time. I really want people to stop focusing on short-term price action because there's not a lot you can do with it. First of all, I don't believe that really anybody, and I've watched some of the best traders I know not do too well when it comes to trading the cryptocurrency space on a short-term basis. Really should be focused on being an investor and the bigger time frames and what's taking place. And we've continued, and we've stated for a long time, we continue to state that we have a $19.27 XRP price. It looks a lot more likely than when we were saying it down in the 40 sort of cents range. Of course, it's progressed nicely. Today, XRP is at $2.44. And really all it did, and we were expecting this, was run into an all-time high. This is your 2018 or 2017 bull market, really all-time high of $3.20 sort of cents. And you've really just ran into that today and are pulling back from it, which was always to be expected. If you look at how markets will typically take a high, they'll run at it, reject off of it, and it will act as resistance, and then they'll break through it with momentum, which could be coming on the back end of some fundamental news. We'll see what comes out post the Sunshine Act. There's likely going to be news and clarity more broadly, certainly on a topic that they have openly acknowledged they're discussing, which of course is XRP. Interestingly also, talking about if you look at how markets typically take highs, look at what happened the last time, and we essentially said a 2017 repeat was coming, and it's here. The last time you ran into an all-time high, you pulled back before then seeing that continuation. And that's exactly the phase or the stage where you are today, guys. And it's brutal. The cryptocurrency space is inherently volatile. If you want those big ROIs, that unfortunately comes with volatility. But you will push through this, in my opinion, certainly get to $19, and then we can see where we go from there. You know, that's just what we have a technical merit for. I do actually think there's a good chance that it goes significantly higher than that, because I honestly believe that the likes of XRP and XLM are going to play a key role in enabling the internet of value that we are on the cusp of. Okay, nobody's really came out publicly and said that, barring a few. But if you look at what their actions are, there's an enabling and a working with the likes of Ripple to actually utilize and use DLT technology, of course, in this case being XRP. So despite this somewhat crappy price action, there are genuinely brighter days ahead of us. Certainly if you focus on the bigger time frames, things look good. And even on the smaller time frames, all you've done is run into an all-time high and having a bit of a pullback. And I do think this is just going to lead to continuation. It's very common when you run into an all-time high that you pull back. That's all you're doing here. Remember, we have the bigger pattern that's taking you to $19.27. So very excited to see how this week unfolds. We also have a subcommittee on digital assets taking place on Wednesday. We'll be streaming that for you guys. That'll be around 7:30 UK time. Hang in there, guys. You've got to be in it to win it. Ultimately, the cryptocurrency space is inherently volatile. That's what we're seeing right now. We've survived this month alone, and you guys have survived this month alone. The largest ever hack that took place just on Friday, and we've done quite well as a result of all of that, I think. We've survived the largest ever rug pull, being what took place with the Argentina president and that whole debacle. And we've survived the largest liquidation event of that $2 billion, which was, of course, more than FTX and the March 2020 spills. And we're still here. We're still fighting. The market still looks in good health and shape. I'm ultimately holding XRP to get to that $19.27 price prediction, and then I'll likely take some off. But yeah, a lot of fundamental sort of drivers coming that sees continuation from a price point of view, and technically, we don't think things look bad at all. You've just ran into an all-time high. You're pulling back. You'll likely get that continuation in time. Hopefully, we'll be proven right. Remember, nothing is a guarantee. Invest in the crypto space at your own peril. That's it from me, guys. I'm going to love and leave you. Thanks for watching, as always, and I'll see you all in the next one.